News this morning. A new bill in Frankfort could change how decisions are made in Kentucky schools. Why some say it's a step forward for accountability. Plus, how Governor Andy Beshear is working to strengthen outcomes for Kentuckians in recovery.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Friday, February 13th. The time is now 5 o'clock, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it's Friday the 13th.
Wait, what? Oh my gosh, it is Friday the 13th.
I was going to say happy Friday, but then I realized it was the 13th. I was like, oh gosh.
Well, you know, the 13th is actually a lucky day of the month. So, you know, if you kind of contradict those two statements, maybe it's going to be a good Friday, right? Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. We have this slight temperature warm up going into the weekend, so things are going to be improving. But in terms of this morning, it is on the colder side. A lot of folks are sitting in those low 20s. We even see 19 degrees right now in Monticello, so that coat is definitely necessary as you're starting off your Friday. And as we head into the afternoon, we'll be seeing a mixture of the 50s, mostly sitting in the low 50s, but our far southwestern counties have a run for the mid 50s today. Overall, though, it is going to be a wonderful forecast as mostly sunny skies are in the forecast this morning, but for the most part, we're just going to see sunny conditions all day long. So it's really going to be a great forecast for you to finish out the work week. Here's a look through the temperatures throughout the day. We'll hit the highs around that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock time frame. Neely.
Thank you, Megan. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie was reported missing. The FBI has doubled the reward to $100,000 for any information leading to the return of Nancy Guthrie or the arrest of anyone involved in her disappearance. For the first time, authorities have also released a detailed profile of the person they are calling a suspect in the case as the search for answers continue. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
The FBI has released a more detailed description of the masked person seen on Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera from the night she disappeared. The Bureau says the suspect is male, 5'9" or 5'10" with an average build. The FBI also says he was wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack backpack like the one seen here. FBI teams continue scouring the neighborhood for clues. Investigators temporarily put up a white tent at the entrance of Nancy Guthrie's house Thursday, and a source also tells CBS News black gloves found during the search have been sent for DNA testing. Meanwhile, investigators are asking neighbors to recheck their security cameras, expanding the time frame to include the days before and after the 84-year-old disappeared.
The offender had to do some kind of a recon.
Retired FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole says she believes the suspect may have been in the neighborhood before Guthrie went missing.
It does not necessarily mean he's going to stand out like some strange guy that is frightening to people, but rather would blend in so that he doesn't generate a lot of concern.
Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie posted childhood videos on social media Thursday with the message, "Our lovely mom, we will never give up on her. Thank you for your prayers and hope." Flower tributes are growing outside Nancy Guthrie's home as the efforts to bring her back stretch into a 13th day. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
As of yesterday, the FBI says it has received more than 13,000 tips in the case. Anyone with any information that could help the investigation is encouraged to call the tip lines set up by the FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The EPA is scrapping federal limits on emissions from cars, trucks, and power plants. John Decker has more from the White House.
During President Obama's first year in office, the EPA declared that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases threaten the public's health and welfare. Now President Trump's EPA is doing away with that finding. The EPA's so-called endangerment findings said greenhouse gases should be regulated under the Clean Air Act, and over the last 17 years, it led to dozens of environmental regulations.
Hello, everybody.
But the president, who has called climate change a hoax, praised the EPA's repeal of that finding.
This determination had no basis, in fact, had none whatsoever, and it had no basis in law. On the contrary, over the generations, fossil fuels have saved millions of lives and lifted billions of people out of poverty and all over the world.
The president claimed that by withdrawing the EPA finding, it will save families almost $2,500 on a new car or truck.
This action will eliminate over $1.3 trillion of regulatory costs and help bring car prices tumbling down dramatically. You're going to get a better car. You're going to get a car that starts easier, a car that works better for a lot less money.
And EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said U.S. automakers will also benefit.
No longer will automakers be pressured to shift their fleets towards electric vehicles.
Environmentalists claim that rolling back the EPA's finding will cause thousands more deaths. They intend to challenge the administration's decision in federal court. At the White House, I'm John Decker.
Kentucky lawmakers have advanced a bill that would change how school councils operate. Supporters say important decisions need to be in the hands of superintendents and principals. Opponents argue the current system that's been in place since 1990 isn't broken. Senator Aaron Reed says the bill simply defines the chain of command.
And what this does is it more clearly defines the chain of command. You know, I'm a military guy. I understand chain of command.
Reed says he's heard complaints that too many people in lower positions are making decisions with little input from leadership. The bill passed to the Senate panel 10-2. A new push is helping a bill move through the Kentucky legislature right now that would give candidates running for state office better access to security. House Bill 136 would let political candidates and office holders use campaign funds to pay for security for themselves or their loved ones. These are funds that are donated directly to their campaign, not taxpayer dollars. A similar bill was introduced last year, but it failed to make it out of committee. Yesterday, the House Committee on Elections took out a $15,000 cap from the bill, allowing state candidates the ability to fund their own security details, no matter the cost.
Well, I think we've been talking about already, politics are not quite as tame and as cordial as they've been in the past. And even last June, the nation learned of a tragic act of political violence against two Minnesota state legislators and one spouse who were fatally critically shot at their home by a person impersonating a police officer. And House Bill 136 is really necessary to modernize the campaign finance laws that allow that protection of candidates and their loved ones.
House Bill 136 passed ununanimously. It now heads to the full House. The governor highlighted the Commonwealth's work to end substance abuse. The event was hosted by the nonprofit People Advocating for Recovery. Bashir spoke alongside other Kentuckians who shared their stories of overcoming drug addiction. The event yesterday was also an opportunity for Bashir to designate February 11th as Recovery Advocacy Day in Kentucky.
We've lost too many parents, children, family members and friends, all children of God, taken far too soon. Here in Kentucky, we are committed to doing the work to fight this deadly epidemic.
The nonprofit People Advocating Recovery also has a council of members who talk with lawmakers about ways to improve recovery outcomes through legislation. In Washington, parts of the government are set to be frozen because of anger over ICE. Senate Democrats are refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security unless there are changes like restricting agents from wearing masks and tightening rules around warrants. A DHS shutdown will impact the TSA, Coast Guard, and FEMA, but Democrats blocked a vote Thursday rejecting a last-minute White House funding proposal.
They want our law enforcement to be totally vulnerable and put them in a lot of danger. They have some things that are really very hard to approve.
A partial shutdown on Saturday could last some time. Lawmakers are leaving Washington for a week-long recess. Well, thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Sticker shock for many Kentuckians. What we're hearing as many are seeing higher electricity bills this winter.
And do you have any weekend plans for Valentine's Day? I'll tell you what you can expect coming up.